Let's just get going, shall we?
Yes.
Monica Calinescu.
Hello.
You are an award-winning change manager with expertise in leading organisational change programs, driving culture change and shaping people strategies, including equality, diversity and inclusion initiatives. Your passion lies in empowering leaders to change effectively and inclusively, equipping them with the skills to create equitable workplaces where everyone can thrive. Is that you?
Yes.
Have I got the right person?
That's me. Yeah, I'm the right person. I did read my LinkedIn bio last night. I was thinking, yeah, he's going to read that to me.
Yeah.
I need to make sure that, I can still relate to it. And I
Yeah,
can.
that's cool.
Still stands.
So we've got a bit of a tradition where I pick a LinkedIn post and dig a bit deeper into the meaning behind it.
Oh my God, I'm very curious which post you've actually picked.
So strap yourselves in, folks, because you're going to have to listen to me for about 40 seconds.
I love that.
Or you can read it out. It's up to you. So, change doesn't land because of a framework, a new technique, or a tool. It lands because of people and how safe they feel around them. And more specifically, because of the climate leaders create for others to experience and navigate change. According to research, 3 things make all the difference when it comes to building psychological safety during change. Number 1, integrity. I'm not going to read there. Number 2, respect. Number 3, empathy, which is your favorite.
Yep.
The best leaders I've worked with, as in you, were able to see things from their people's perspective. They listened, they cared, and they led with understanding. And because of that, people naturally trusted them. When integrity, respect, and empathy come together, people feel a little less anxious, a little more curious, and more open to learning something new. That's when change has a chance to take root.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Where did it come from?
To be honest, all the posts that I do on LinkedIn come from my own experience. And I've noticed, how I react to change myself. And the leaders that I've enjoyed working with, whether it's in the context of being the change manager and partnering with them, coaching them on how to communicate change to their teams, be there for them, understand how they can best support them, because change brings a lot of uncertainty. And neuroscience tells us that a lot of uncertainty brings our brain into that threat mode, which means we go into fight or flight, which means a lot of anxiety for us. And naturally, leaders are the most trusted voice in the organization. People want to hear from their line managers if something is about to change, if something regarding their role, their compensation, whatever it is. I think it's really, really important that we work with our leaders to encourage them to lead authentically, be themselves, so that we don't erode trust when change is happening. There's so much change happening at the moment. I think I came across this quote. I think it was from Justin Trudeau, something like, change has never been this fast, yet it will never be this slow again.
Yeah.
And it's so true. So, so true. But we're not really, I don't think we're helping leaders in that respect. All of a sudden, we went from, leaders spending let's say 50% of their time doing operational stuff, doing the BAU stuff, and now they're expected to lead change 90% of their time, but with no training, no tools, no knowledge whatsoever on how to do this. Their role has changed, yet we're not giving them the support or their encouragement to show them how it needs to be done and what they can be doing to support their people through the enormous amount of change and the increased pace of change that is happening. And I think especially when it comes to, I mentioned empathy being my favorite, we do live in some very turbulent times at the moment, and empathy is kind of being weaponized.
What does that mean?
I think we have heard a lot of public figures talking about empathy not being something that should exist in the workplace.
Okay, yeah.
I I don't agree with it. And I think the foundation for change to happen is for trust to be there, and you can't have trust without empathy. Leaders need to have that empathy and that respect for the work that their people are doing, and to understand what it's like to be in their shoes, because there's so much going on in people's lives. It's not just that system change that we're going to be doing. It's not just that restructure. People have all sorts of things that they're going through. They could be a parent, they could be someone who is navigating grief, they could be someone who's trying to find childcare and stuff like that. There's so much going on in people's lives. It's not just work, and those things, we can't just leave them at the door.
Yeah. And part of this conversation, I suppose, sometimes I'm going to caveat with this, with saying the questions I ask are not my opinions, but it's trying to provide value for the people watching, listening. So in the workplace scenario then, do you think there's a line of, okay, we're going to accommodate one's needs, but it can only go so far because we are paying you, and it's not really our problem? Like, is there, I don't know, is there a line where a workplace has the right to go, we can be empathetic to a point because you are, we are employing you to do it, not we are employing that person to do a job.
Yeah.
And I haven't got the answer. It's just I just find it interesting of how far does it go.
I think, look, I don't think empathy means we're going to excuse poor performance, because employers and organizations have a duty to recruit the right people in the right roles, right? Poor performance doesn't just impact the organization and the productivity and the performance, it impacts other people within the team as well, because others have to take the slack of, the workload from those who are underperforming. But I think even when someone, let's say, is not performing well for whatever reason, whatever is happening in their lives, we can still do it with empathy, and we can still approach the conversation with curiosity. When I say, empathy is important in the workplace, especially in the context of change, is not saying we should excuse every behavior and we should put all of the accommodations in the world. I think I'm saying that, we should just be human with people, treat them like adults, and instead of jumping to the worst case scenario and assume the worst in people, just pause and trying to understand, just be a bit more curious.
Take a breath.
Exactly. What is happening in these people's lives? Is there anything else happening? And, in the context of change, I mentioned around the fact that there's so much change going on. It is overwhelming for leaders as well, but equally for those who are directly impacted by the change, the end users. We need to be a bit more kind to ourselves, because this is a lot. Change is naturally overwhelming to people. If we pile it on, it's just going to create a lot of anxiety, and that's going to impact performance at the end of the day.
Oh, thank you. So anyone who goes onto your LinkedIn profile can see the vast experience that you've got.
Thank you.
But if they can't be bothered doing that, could you just share the high level journey of the you so far in the context of career, change management, etc. If you're comfortable, or as much as you are comfortable to do that.
No, that's great. And first of all, thank you so much for saying that. It's actually quite funny, because I kind of stumbled into change management. My background is actually in engineering.
I noticed that. Yeah. And by engineering, again, for them lot.
Yeah.
What type of engineering?
Well, back when I was 19, I moved to the UK. I'm originally from Romania. And I decided, you know what? I really like physics and maths. And I decided I'm going to come to the UK and study mechanical engineering at uni. And I really, really enjoyed it. But it wasn't really something that I wanted to pursue as a career. But I think it's the reason why I ended up spending most of my career working in STEM. So construction, engineering, manufacturing. sectors. But when I finished uni, I had no clue what I wanted to do. Everyone was so into like 3D modeling and designing cars and doing all of these things. And I was just,
CAD.
literally like SolidWorks and all of that. And I was there thinking, I have no idea what I want to do. But I did have a really good opportunity. I was working at that time for an engineering company, and I was working in the R&D department, which meant I was doing a lot of project work. And I realized that is something that I enjoy, but I wasn't quite sure why I'm enjoying it. Like what I really enjoyed was just helping people. So I was naturally gravitating towards the people side of things anyway. But I thought, well, project management, this is it. Like, this is what I'm meant to be doing. But I was still like really confused, and being totally honest, like my confidence was very low at that time. It is quite difficult being, the only woman in the room sometimes, being the only immigrant in the room, or being the only neurodivergent person in the room, although quite a lot of people are neurodivergent, but they might not know this. But yeah, I was really struggling. But I did get an opportunity. I joined a construction company, and I got an opportunity to work on a program focused on centralizing purchase to pay, like P2P processes, and building like an international business service center. And that was super exciting. I really enjoyed it. But that's when I saw firsthand the impact of not having change support and change resources allocated to a project, especially in the context where people were losing their jobs, right? Like they were going through restructures and redundancies as well. And I think that prompted me to learn a bit more about change management and just to read a little bit more about it. But I got an opportunity. I think I thought to myself, right, I'm going to give engineering one more try. And I really wanted to step into a more senior role. So I left and I joined a clean tech startup, amazing company with an amazing purpose. And I joined as a project engineer. But it still wasn't what I wanted to do. Like I found myself, I was in London, and I was at an engineering conference. And I was so sad because I thought to myself, I made the wrong move. I'm not enjoying this. I don't really know what I'm going to do with my career. And I was on the phone, I remember even now, with my friend. And I said to her, I have no idea what I'm going to be doing. I can't find anything that I enjoy doing. And she said to me, like, this is brilliant. Like, now you're one step closer to finding what you actually enjoy doing. I thought to myself, oh God, is this what you're going to be telling me now when I'm, like super sad and upset? And she was right. She was absolutely right, because later on I got a message from the head of change at the same construction company where I worked before. They were creating this change team, and I've been asked whether I would want to join. And it was the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity, because it completely changed my life. I had an incredible time working with an amazing head of change, incredible sponsors, incredible leaders, and incredible teams and people, and lots of exciting projects that normally, like, an in-house change manager doesn't get to work on such a breadth of, topics. I got to work on, an implementation, well, to be honest, more of a recovery of a HR system rollout. And we got it from, people wondering, what is this? We rolled this out to achieving like the highest global adoption rate, which was absolutely brilliant. And later on, I got to work on building more change capability as well within the organization. I'm really passionate, I mentioned earlier, around equipping leaders with the skills that they need to lead change. I think sometimes our roles as change managers is confused with the change leader. We're not the change leaders, yet we're the ones, receiving and doing all of the training, but the change leaders are not receiving anything. So one of the things I really wanted to focus on in my role was to build that change capability for them. And and to create a change portfolio so that we have an understanding of all the changes that are happening across the organization, and to give the leaders a way to communicate a more unified vision. So rather than having lots of people bombarding them with information about all sorts of projects going on and them bombarding their teams with the information, we could just go to them and say, look, like, this is what's going to happen in the next 3 months. This is how we're going to create a more unified vision around what is happening. And yeah, I think along the way, I got to win, a couple of awards, which I'm very, very grateful for. Got to launch my own podcast on mental health, something that, is very, very close to my heart. Started creating more content. Think I got to find myself, or maybe build the courage or the confidence to be myself more and show people who I really am and my values. And be more authentic, which is something that I've always wanted to, but I've never really been that brave to do it.
We'll definitely come back to that for sure,
Yeah.
because it interests me, and I'm sure it'll interest the people. The
people watching.
Yeah. Basic question for you. What is a change manager?
Yeah, maybe you should have started with that, right?
I think it's good though to build.
Yeah.
I think it's good to build the context of who you are first, and that post stood out. I knew it was going to go down a tangent, or I gambled on it going down a tangent. So The good thing about it is there's chapters, so I'll write in what is a change. If that's all they want to know, they can go to that part.
Yeah. Change managers. How long have we got?
As long as you want.
Change managers. Well, long story short, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but change managers are those who are working with, people. So like people impacted directly by the change, leaders, organizations, to help them navigate the change in a more smooth way, meaningful way. There are people who are working to create alignment across teams to understand what is going on, why is that change happening. And they're the people who are working to enable the organizations to achieve that value, the benefits that they've put in the business case in the first place. The difference, I think, between project managers and change managers, project managers are more focused on what needs to be done, the tasks that need to be done, whereas change managers, I mentioned earlier, they're more focused on the people side of things. So making sure that people can understand, what is happening, what's changing, also what's staying the same. That's really, really important, especially with trying to alleviate anxiety. Why is this happening? How it links with, the organization's vision, the strategic goals as well. Are we working towards the same vision? When is this going to happen? Where? And also like what support is available. We're the ones that we need to make sure that training has taken place, people are equipped, they've got the right skills and knowledge to make that change happen, whether it's a behavioral change or we're changing, a system that we're using, a digital change.
I find when I go into places now, as I've gained more experience, more and more I'm saying, okay, I can do this part.
Yeah.
But what you're really saying is, what I've observed is you need a change manager as well.
Yeah.
Or if you don't want to do that because there's an investment, you've got a communication problem.
Yeah.
Because someone like me, as much as I can take on integrity, respect, and empathy, that only goes so far if the whole thing isn't being communicated of why this person is here.
Yeah.
Why, what's in it for the people.
Yeah.
I'm talking about it from an agile point of view, I suppose. But even if it's a system, a thing, how you record your holidays, what's in it for that? Like if if the leaders within the organization don't know how to communicate any change, then it's not going to be pretty.
No, and organizations, they probably see this as an investment, like having to get a change manager on board as well. But what they're actually doing is almost future-proofing that business case. Because if people don't understand why this change is happening, they don't have the right tools to make that change happen. They're just going to revert back to the old ways.
Yeah.
If they are able to do that. I know sometimes with digital changes, they're kind of forced to adopt that because we've removed all of the other ways in which they could conduct that process. But a lot of the times, and I've seen it in my career as well, people do revert back to the old ways, which means we haven't realized the benefits. We haven't gained the financial benefits that we wanted to, or the benefits that allows us to move the company in the direction that they're envisioning. I think it's very sad. Sometimes we see organizations wanting project managers to take on the change manager role as well. They're completely different roles. And, I can't do what a project manager does. And I can't, successfully wear two hats at the same time. Probably could give it my best shot, but it's not going to be perfect. And they have to manage that risk, I think, and understand what the risk is in the first place with not having the right resource allocated to a project.
I didn't prepare you for this question.
Oh, God.
So, no, but you don't have to answer it. But I imagine, again, thinking about them, what does a typical day as a change manager look like within a generic organisation?
Okay.
What are some activities, workshops, like what are you up to?
It's different every day.
Yeah.
That's not a good answer, but it's different every day. And it very much depends on the type of project that you're working on, or the type of change, or where you are, at what stage. But if I were to give you, like very high level, very generic, I think the best use of change managers' time is to facilitate conversations. And I don't mean like sending emails and stuff like that, because people think, communication means you're going to send an email or a newsletter or an update. It's creating that space for people to have more conversations. I don't believe in having a change manager locked in a room by themselves, writing a very, very long change plan that is already out of date and no one reads. I think our time is best spent around people, with the people who are impacted by the change, with the change leaders as well. So like the line managers of those people, with a sponsor. I was very, very lucky in my previous role to work with an incredible sponsor who made time every week for us to have a catch up. So we would both start our day on Monday, our week with a catch up call, just to see where we are, what we need from each other, and almost like using ourselves as a sounding board for each other. It depends. Like, something that I love doing, especially at the beginning of projects, is understanding the organizational context that we're operating in. Like all of those questions that I've mentioned earlier, what a change manager needs to answer around, why is this change happening? Almost like interviewing, but like not interviewing, like having coffee chats with people, understanding why that change is happening, like what's staying the same, what's changing. And I really like to do that through workshops. I'm a big, big fan of bringing people together.
Have you got a particular favourite workshop?
Something that I really love doing is a change canvas.
What's that?
So this is from Lean Change, and I love drawing from like Lean Change principles. You get a canvas, and it could either be in a mirror board virtually, like a virtual whiteboard, or it could be in person, which I love because you get the sticky notes and, lots of markers.
Your behaviour just changed then from it could be virtual to it could be in person.
Yes, so you can tell which one is my favourite.
Yeah, that was a tell.
Yeah.
If you played poker, I'd know what you were up to.
Yeah, but I love bringing people in person. I normally have like a big strategic change canvas that I got with me. Or you could just use a whiteboard and just like write down, what's changing, who are the people impacted by the change, what are, the success measures, how are we going to engage with people. And these are just prompts for the conversation.
And is that an actual template people can use? So I can link it. Okay. I'll link it in the comments.
I do want to mention, Jason Little and Justin Belaski. They're doing fantastic work in the lean change space, and Change Canvas is rooted in that and is created by them. So can definitely mention Idea Leap and both of their profiles on this. But I really, really enjoy doing a Change Canvas. And another thing that I've really, really enjoyed in the past, and I did a LinkedIn post about this as well, is something called the sailboat exercise.
Yeah.
I think I've actually got this from a website on how to do like retrospectives, to be honest.
What's anchoring you?
Yes.
What are the rocks?
Yeah.
What's gonna
the wind that is going to push you in the
it.
right direction towards the island, which is the vision as well, and the sailboat being us.
Yeah.
I love that. I did that when we were looking at shaping our people strategy for 2026, just to do like a check-in on how's 2025 gone, challenges, obstacles, what can we focus on for 2026.
2026.
I know. Wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very good. There are so many different types of workshops that you can do, but I think the most important thing is creating a psychologically safe space for people to feel comfortable to share their ideas, share their concerns, and not label that as resistance, which is something that people normally tend to do.
I've asked this question to a few people because I'm still not sure my own opinion on it, but do you think it's possible to be fully psychologically safe in the workplace? And do you think people want that all of the time?
As in bringing our authentic selves to work?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I suppose I'm not saying this is a good example, but it's a way to articulate the things that go through my mind. Like when I go to the doctors, rightly or wrongly, I want selfishly to know what's wrong with me. I don't care if they're psychologically safe or not. And if they started unloading on me, I'd think, well, hang on a minute.
What's going on? I'm the one who's a bit poorly here.
I'm happy to be corrected and told that's a poor example, but I just wonder, the book by, is it Amy Edmondson, about psychological safety? I just sometimes worry that people grab onto it without really knowing what it means and what they're asking for. Like, I don't know if people are always the most authentic in work. So I wondered if you could correct me on that.
Yeah. I think it's slightly different with your example.
Yeah.
Only because I hope you're not spending a lot of time at the doctors.
No, it was just...
but in the workplace, we do spend a lot of time. And look, I've been very lucky to work with a fantastic manager who has created that psychologically safe space for me. And that didn't mean, every day I would, share everything and overshare everything that's happening in my personal life. But I knew that if I was struggling, I have that safe space where I can reach out to him and be honest.
That's good. I'm glad you.
I do think, particularly in the workplace, because we spend a lot of time at work, it is important to feel like we don't have to mask, because that takes a lot of energy. And I think especially with neurodivergent people, they do tend to mask a lot, which means they're trying to appear to be someone that they're not, or, for the sake of fitting in. I am a big advocate for psychological safety, and I think it's really important, at least with the people that you work very closely with. But I appreciate not everyone's very lucky to have a good manager that wants to create that space or sees the value in creating that space.
I think I'm personally coming at it from the wrong angle, because I think sometimes, wrongly, some people just want to come to work, do their job and go home. And they will be
fine.
two different people.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a bad thing. But I suppose to your point, again, please correct me. It's about if they want to show more of themselves, they've got the environment. If they want to open up.
Yeah. Or they could just be themselves, and that could mean, sometimes you don't even need to speak or say something. It could just be a space where you feel comfortable to, I don't know, maybe wear a blue suit or wear something that people normally don't tend to wear in that workplace, or something that just makes you you. It doesn't mean that you want to share something personal. It just means you've got that space where you can be yourself. Equally, I do think sometimes, you can choose whether you want to share something or not, because sometimes it could be very emotionally draining and it can drain a lot of energy out of you. Yeah. But yeah, I'm still a big fan of psychological safety, especially with everything that is going on.
Yeah, I think I agree. I've just seen some people talk about it, and then when it comes to it, someone brings something to work, or they say something that, there's nothing worse sometimes than being told, don't worry, folks, it's a psychologically safe room. Then someone says something that someone doesn't agree with, and they're sort of the outcast then.
Yes.
I've seen that. They raise an opinion.
Yeah.
That's slightly, it may be true and goes against the grain because it's a psychologically safe environment. And then they're the awkward one then.
Yeah.
So
I've seen that as well. Which is why I've mentioned, around empathy being weaponized, or unfortunately some of these words are being used or misused because people don't understand what it actually means.
I think that's the point I'm trying to make in a roundabout way. Yeah. Use the words carefully, because they can have a hell of an impact if you don't understand what you're talking about.
Exactly. Like sadly, I've also heard people saying, oh, but this is, a safe space, meaning that we're allowed to say whatever we want, but that's not what it means. No. Because it's a safe space, it doesn't mean you have to say some very offensive words or say something that will impact other people's well-being. Yeah, it can.
It's a balance, isn't it? It's tricky. But I think these conversations are important because it lives within the grey. It's not completely one side. It's not completely the other. We're all weird.
Yeah.
We're all irrational, impulsive creatures.
100%, Jack. 100%. And look, I don't think anything is black or white, right? I think we live in very complex shades of grey, and we operate in a space where we need to have these conversations. And I think it's brilliant that we can have these conversations and, agree, disagree. We all come at it from different experiences, I talk a lot about psychological safety because I work in change and because I had a very positive experience with having that, and I've seen what it meant for me to help me unmask. But I do appreciate that other people might have different experiences and different opinions as well.
And it depends where you work as well. Like in a different life, in my old job, on a ship, on a warship, psychological safety means dark humor.
Yeah.
Things one would never get away with in an office environment.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it was any less psychologically safe. It was just a completely different context and a completely different set of people.
Yeah.
So it shifts, as people mature as well. Like you learn how to navigate it.
Absolutely. And we as a society, I think we have definitely changed and evolved, haven't we? Like in the past 15, 20 years. Like I do think we are starting to have deeper conversations around mental health, what it means to us, mental health in the workplace, psychological safety, trust, empathy. And the good thing is, I think now we've got the language and the terminology and the things to articulate how we feel. I think it's the start of a conversation, but I think it's good that we have got to a point, like you said, when we have matured in this space and we can have these conversations.
Yeah. Deep.
No.
So integrity, respect, and empathy.
Mm-hmm.
3 ingredients
Yeah.
to organizational change.
Easy.
Yeah, done. Are there any others you would sort of put around, like any bolt-ons, if you like, any bonuses, bonus features?
Definitely curiosity. I think you definitely need curiosity, just to being curious to understand why people react the way they react. You know, I mentioned resistance before. Sometimes, you know, when someone says something that goes against the grain or is against the change, people tend to label them as, oh, they're being a bit negative. Like, don't
I've
bother
been that
with them.
person. When you're, you know, I've been in a group of Agile coaches and I know what they're all thinking.
Yeah.
And I've said the opinion and they've all just gone silent. And then you're the one then. You're the outcast. And it's horrible.
Yeah.
But you just have to learn that not everyone's gonna, you know, back you up at times.
Exactly. But I think what we need to do, especially as change managers, change practitioners, and change leaders as well, we need to be curious to understand why people are reacting that way. Sometimes they just don't agree with that change for personal reasons. But sometimes they're actually helping us uncover some very important blind spots that are going to save us a lot of headache in the future. Yeah. So I think curiosity is really important, and being curious to learn new things as well. You know, I talked about leaders kind of being expected to now lead a lot of change and not just juggle BAU and all the performance reviews and all the things that they have to do, succession planning and all of that. I think we need that curiosity to want to learn, continue to learn new things and adapt as we move through many, many changes.
Nice. We've got to give the people what they want.
Okay.
Because of the nature and what this podcast is called. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on Agile?
Oh, I hate it.
Yeah. We'll clip that.
Yeah, I'm going to be controversial now. No, nothing controversial, to be honest. I think a lot of people feel that way. When I mentioned previously, used to work in project management, did my Prince 2 qualification, thought to myself, when will I ever use this? Don't really know when organizations would actually be that linear in the way they approach a project or a change. But when I first learned about Agile, I thought to myself, this is the way forward. Like, why would we do it any other way?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not an Agile expert. Luckily, you are.
Wow, depends who you speak to.
But in the context of change, what the reason why Agile really resonated with me is because change is not linear. We cannot predict how people are going to react to change, especially when there's so much change, which means so much uncertainty, which means a lot of anxiety for people. We cannot predict how they're going to react. But I think what we could do, and I mentioned, lean change principles earlier, all we could do is bring people together, have some meaningful conversations with them, co-create solutions, experiment, and repeat and learn from the feedback. I think it's really important. I mentioned around, very long change plans. Why would we waste our time doing that when we could just spend less time on the planning, more time on, the execution of the change and actually get the feedback? I think it's that simple. If something works, great, carry on, do it. If something doesn't work, then pivot, adjust the change plan and move forward in a more meaningful way rather than just carrying on doing what you said you're going to be doing because you've agreed 6 months ago that this is the way forward. But the organization has changed and the change has changed as well. So
Yeah, the change has changed.
yeah.
Cool.
So I'm in favor of it.
You're in favour. Team Agile.
Team Agile.
You get the badge on the way out.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Can I get the sticker as well?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll send it. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you.
So you alluded earlier on about being more present on LinkedIn, and to be honest, that's how I came across your profile with the skits or the videos that you were doing.
Yes.
Which I think which are brilliant, and they're obviously gathering attention. Yeah, what motivated you to? What was the trigger to doing that? Because you don't see many people in your niche doing that sort of content, and being open to being a bit self-deprecating, to having a bit of fun with it.
Oh gosh, I just I've always enjoyed video content. I grew up on social media. Many years ago, I wanted to become a YouTuber. That didn't work out because I didn't have the confidence to open a YouTube channel. But I now have the confidence to post on LinkedIn, which is great. No, but in all seriousness, I love bringing communities together. And I think what better way to do it than just sprinkling a bit of humor. People don't love being sold to, like, especially with social media these days and all of the algorithms, we get so much content being pushed at us. And, we're all very tired. We all go through so much. I thought to myself, why not just make something that's a bit funny and relatable to people? Because you're right, there's not a lot of, or at least not at the moment, we don't have a lot of humor in the change space. I think there are incredible, creators out there and change practitioners who are sharing some very, very valuable content on LinkedIn. But I thought we kind of need to have a laugh, because being a change manager, change practitioner is incredibly draining sometimes. Like, I love it. It's an incredible profession, incredible topic, but sometimes we're like therapists. We wear so many hats and we have so many conversations with people. We just need a laugh. We just need to kind of make fun of the situations that we all find ourselves in and have fun. And the thing that I love the most is the fact that people resonate with it. And I get to, I got to meet so many people through LinkedIn. Like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for posting on LinkedIn. So it definitely brings a lot of opportunities, and it helps me connect with others from different communities. And look, I learned so much from others, like I follow lots of people like copywriters and people who work in social media and marketing, because I feel like there's a lot to learn and that we can apply in the change space and beyond, not just in the change space. I think it's brilliant that we've got a social media channel where you can truly network with people and actually build a community. So yeah, that's kind of what motivated me.
I'm assuming you enjoy it.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
And are you freelance now, or?
No.
So what's the reaction been to, when I was permanent?
Yeah.
Before I started this, people, they would never question it, but they were always intrigued. As like, are you talking about us?
Yeah.
Should you be writing that?
Oh.
Especially earlier,
Yeah.
when I was still learning how to do it. Like, what's the? What if maybe there's been no reaction?
I think I've been quite lucky because there's been no reaction. My organization has only been very supportive of me building my own personal brand as well. Yeah.
It's only good for them if people know who you are.
Exactly.
And then they go to them.
Exactly.
It's a good reflection on them.
100%. And I think it's good for their employer brand, like you just said, because they get to learn more about the organization through me. But yeah, I haven't really been questioned around, is this about us? It's never really been an issue. And I do recommend, maybe add the line on your LinkedIn these are my personal views. But yeah, it's never really been an issue for me.
Good. And then the podcast, is that through you or is it through them? Or
yeah, so that was something that I started back in 2023. So it's a personal project.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I burnt out, so I had to stop doing that. Huge respect for people who can juggle so many things. I couldn't, so I had to stop. But I am looking to bring it back to life in 2026. It's just a passion project. Like I said, I really, really wanted to talk about mental health, particularly in the context of work. Mostly because, like I said, early in my career, I really struggled with my confidence. I felt like I had to mask a lot, being in a very male-dominated industry and environment. And I really wanted others to feel less alone, which is why I wanted to invite lots of people to talk about all sorts of different topics, from chronic illnesses, living with, ADHD and bipolar, and, talking about men's mental health. I really wanted to tackle a wide range of topics. And it's still nice because I still get messages from people saying, oh, that episode really inspired me. I've decided to leave this toxic job, or decided to focus more on my mental health, or now started meditating every morning. It's really, really nice to hear from people. And, linking it back to content on LinkedIn as well, Jack, I recently had a post that went viral with that sailboat exercise, and I had lots of people messaging me afterwards saying, oh, I did this with an executive team, or I decided to do this at the start of a change project. I'm like, that's so cool that, you came across a post, it inspired you, and you actually decided to take this, put it into practice, and it worked. That's fabulous. I love it.
Is there anything else on your mind that you'd like to share?
No, not really. I just want to say a huge thank you to you, because I really, really enjoyed the conversation.
Oh, it's not over yet.
Oh.
You haven't done the plug.
Oh, okay. The plug.
No, Calvin, which is the best camera. So I would like you
that one.
to share with the people where they can get in contact if you want them to.
Oh, yes, please.
What the podcast is called.
Yeah.
And anything else you've got to plug, really.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it. Well, this is going to be very short and sweet. Love for you to follow me on LinkedIn, Monica Calinescu. Is it going to be in the show notes as well? Brilliant. So just go in the show notes. And yeah, if you want to give my podcast a listen, it's called Real and Unapologetic, and you can find it on all streaming platforms apart from YouTube, but you can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a few other ones as well. And yeah, I think that's it from me.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much, Jack. Really appreciate it. Really enjoyed the conversation.
Me too. And I'm sure the people watching, listening, however they're consuming this will. And because YouTube knows you better than I do, and better than you know yourself, there'll be another episode around here with another interesting person, or it might just be me and my own. YouTube knows you. So go and give that a watch. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.